Live. That's it. That's the show. From the left side of an acute isosceles triangle. You know they had it on the left side? It's your daily dose of supersonic biz nuggets. Joined as never by Emma Hates Us Lurking and mouthy Matt Moscardi. I'm Larry Fink's mentor. Did you know that?
Since when? How does one get that gig?
I've actually never told anyone that. Today in our polyamorous bag called November 23rd, 2021, 2 4-letter private companies, a cowboy hat wearing brother, a Zoom earnings call, and some good news. Some
other stuff.
Some good news.
Go ahead. Start us off with a
Ready?
4-letter word.
Lego.
Oh.
Had such a huge year that it's giving employees extra vacation days and bigger bonuses. The world's largest toy maker, Lego, had a huge first half of 2021. Consumer sales were up over 35% and operating profits more than doubled, the company said. Now, Lego is passing on some of that success to its over 20,000 employees. The company is giving staff 3 additional days off, and annual bonuses will get a top-up in April.
What's a top-up?
It's a little bit of coffee, so it's not putridly tepid. First of all, Lego is a private company, which sucks for me because I can't adequately dig into their report cards and make fun of the D they got in geometry in 10th grade. Second of all, you're about to call me a dumb ESG communist, but are we ever going to get to the point when labor does not have to wait for management to decide it's going to pass on some of that success to the 20,000 employees who actually make the company run? We got pay committees, say on pay votes, EPS metrics tied to big bonuses, blah, blah, blah. So would it really be that crazy in 2021 that there is a codified, RE automatic bonus trigger to all employees if operating profits more than doubled? Instead, we are left with the pre-Christmas PR angels who hint at the great altruism of our fearless executive gods who grace us with our extra shiny top-up pennies when they get in that spiked eggnog mood and are looking for good woke-washy press. Okay, I'm done being ranty. Stakeholders rule, Matt.
Wow, that was a nice little rant. Woo. Speaking of bonuses, some bonus material for the day. I went down an earnings call rabbit hole. Yes, those exist. And I found the answer to your burning question. Why does everyone hate finance assholes and how they fucking talk? Ooh. No one can understand anything they say. I found the answer, and it's in the earnings calls. First up, Siti Panigrahi with Mizuho from the Zoom earnings call, making sure he's the first analyst.
Sounds delicious, by the way.
Yeah. This is all real. Making sure he's the first analyst to use the word color in a meeting. Quote, is there certain vigilance or certain verticals, so could you give some kind of color on that?
Whoa.
Anybody know what he's asking? No, nobody.
Yeah.
Verticals, color. I think it's a diversity play. On to Al Monaco, CEO of Enbridge, an energy company, really now giving some color on Enbridge's overall strategy to make money on all the stuff it's doing right now. Here's what Al Monaco had to say. Quote, so all in, good headway on priorities, moving the ball down the field, delivering good results, getting projects in the ground, building our businesses for the future.
Okay.
I don't know if that was specific enough for you, so I went with, next up, Richard Sunderland from JP Morgan at NiSource, another energy company. Rich Sunderland asked Chief Risk Officer Sean Anderson I guess this is a question, about how much NiSource would spend on investments on the earnings call. Quote, curious to get outlined the guardrails on the potential investment and any gating items here as we progress to the update in the first half of next year in terms of the high-low and where that could realistically fall.
I like that. Two containment metaphors.
Guardrails
gating and guardrails.
And
I love this. Yes.
How many ways can you stop it? My last favorite of the week, the CEO of Indie Semiconductor, and the name I used on my fake driver's license when I was 19, Donald McClymont, talking about customers using sensors for stuff. This is what their company does, sensors for stuff. Quote, We plan to leverage their experience to create high-quality, differentiated devices with the best performance at the lowest cost, power, and footprint, redefining perception-based vision processing.
Was there a
right.
coupon in that? Yeah.
My favorite exchange of the week, though, does go to the Zoom operator using Zoom on the Zoom earnings call. Says the Zoom head of investor relations, Tom McCollum, quote, "Who's next?" And 10 seconds later, replies the operator, "I'm sorry, Matt Stotler with William Blair, I was on mute."
Ooh.
Nicely done. Those are my excerpts from earnings calls this week.
Wow, I just laughed at earnings calls. That's the first for everything. Cosmetics company Lush says it is shutting down its Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat accounts because of the Facebook whistleblower. Ooh. Here's the quote from Lush CEO Mark Constantine. "In the same way that evidence against climate change was ignored and belittled for decades, concerns about the serious effects of social media are going largely ignored now. I've spent all my life avoiding putting harmful ingredients in my products. There is now overwhelming evidence we are being put at risk when using social media. I'm not willing to expose my customers to this harm, so it's time to take it out of the mix. Take that, bitches!" Lush is another private company like Lego, so I can't dig too deep, unfortunately. What's with these four-letter companies, Matt? Although I'm pretty sure both shit and fuck are publicly traded, so maybe it's not that. All right, Lush. Maybe one of the reasons Lush is so smart and decided to quit social media is because 4 out of their 6 top leaders are women.
What?
Or maybe because, according to some of their disclosed diversity data, while 71% of the staff is female, 72% of management is also female.
That got 1 more percent.
Lush ain't selling no woke wash body scrub.
Wow.
More stats to back this up. 26% of staff self-describes as LGBTQ, while 28% of management also self-describes as LGBTQ. And finally, here's the key demographic that nobody ever talks about. 67% of Lush employees and 76% of management have no religion.
Oh.
Hallelujah! The lost ESG diversity data point come to Papa. I love it.
Wow, atheism as a data point. That's an amazing data point. You know what? I'm going to follow your good news with more good news. In the spirit of good news today, the Spirit of Innovation stakes claim to be the world's fastest all-electric vehicle. A little context here. Rolls-Royce, not the car company, the airplane part manufacturer, broke the world record for speed of any and all electric vehicles, and it was an airplane, an electric airplane. Apparently, the aircraft clocked in at a maximum speed of 623 kilometers per hour. For those of you who are U.S.-based, 387.4 miles per hour. And they flew as far as 15 kilometers in one test. No snark here at all. Worth saying Rolls-Royce just dropped a big middle finger to every company claiming it's too hard to do anything before 2050 because they're flying electric airplanes.
Speaking of 2050, Boston mayor divests vulnerable city from fossil fuels. Boston Mayor Michelle Wu, my favorite, signed an ordinance Monday designed to divest the city from fossil fuels. The ordinance will prohibit the use of public funds from being invested in the stocks, securities, or other obligations of any company that derives more than 15% of its revenue from fossil fuels. The ordinance also extends to companies deriving more than 15% of revenue from tobacco products or private prison industries. Matt, what's the deal with this 15% number? I've never heard. Is this actual divestment? Is this a win? I've never heard of this.
You know, there's a company out there with like 14.79% of their revenue from
puppy killing,
from lighting animals on fire, and they're like, "Look, we just made the cut. We just made it. We can still be in Boston's portfolio."
Let's table this for another show, but I'm confused by this. This is new to me. I
Call it
feel
a win.
little dirty. I feel 15% dirty.
15% is an arbitrary number, but let me give you something else to be petrified about, because I'm sure you want to be petrified. In a report titled "The Impact of Climate Change on Mental Health and Emotional Well-Being, Current Evidence and Implications for Policy and Practice," Dr. Emma Lawrence, Mental Health Innovations Fellow at the Institute of Global Health Innovation, found, quote, a clear relationship between increased temperatures and higher suicide rates globally.
I believe that.
Damien, you've been so concerned with flooding in your basement, you forgot that climate change will likely make you wish you were dead anyway. Where's Emma? I've expected her to get beeped right there. Is Emma
Look,
not here?
this is why I live in Maine. I would
There's
absolutely
no-
kill myself with high temperatures. Absolutely. And finally, here's the headline, kind of. Kimball Musk's brother said Tesla's Model S Plaid will probably launch in China around March 22. I probably don't care.
Wait, is Kimball Musk's brother like Ephraim Musk, the unspoken Musk, or is that? That is Damian Rollis, Kimball Musk's brother. I am Matt Moscardi. Emma lurks. We are Free Float Media. If you like this, come back. Not tomorrow, because tomorrow and Thursday and Friday, we're totally off. Don't come back here. Don't ask us for anything. We don't care. But while you're sitting around, oversaturated with tryptophan from your Thanksgiving if you're in the U.S., and glad your U.S. colleagues are no longer online if you're everywhere else, you should call 872-FLOAT-72 and leave us a message. Send us a text. Ask us a question. We will answer it. But we'll answer it next week. Thanks for showing up, and we'll see you then.